August 4th, 2016, selling my 2014 Ram ProMaster diesel. It's on the 3500 chassis, 159-inch wheelbase with the extended cargo area. So it's the largest van they make with the diesel in it. You don't see a ton of these, somewhat rare. I've only seen one or two on the road since I bought it. The van's almost exactly a year old. I bought it in June of last year. It's got 39,000 miles on it, all interstate, going long distance for the most part. I built it to be a stealth adventure van slash, the floor plan's kind of designed around hauling two full-size sport bikes very easily in the back to go to the racetrack for a weekend. Modifications to the outside of the van include the window that I installed. It's got a kick-out awning with a screen. That in conjunction with the fan on top, the vent fan, create a pretty nice breeze inside. Up top you got the Fiamma F65S 12-foot awning. It cranks out 8 feet. One person can deploy or retract it in under a minute. Very easy to use. Coming across the back, nothing crazy. Still kind of trying to keep that stealth, low profile, not loud look. Got a standard 30 amp RV outlet on the side that goes straight to the inverter charger, and then the exhaust for the suburban furnace. Alright, I'll take you up top. Alright, on top of the van, first thing you see is two 100-watt solar panels made by Renogy for a total of 200 watts. That'll run the electric fridge around the clock, charge a cell phone or two a day, and run the LED interior lights within reason on a sunny day. Get on a cloudy day, you know, if you have a series of cloudy days, you can go 3, 4, 5 days in a row on the batteries, which I'll get to next, without having to run any kind of exterior charger. You can see how the awning is mounted to the factory cleats on top of the van, with some aluminum clamps. Really pretty simple. Moving over, you got the max fan vent positioned over the bed. This idea was to draw in a draft from the side window and pull it past you on the bed. Works great. I'll show you a little bit more on that later. And then up front you got a 13,000 BTU Coleman AC unit, standard camper unit, which works awesome. Alright, under the hood is the diesel 4-cylinder Fiat diesel. Thing's awesome. 175 horsepower. I believe it's 280 or 295 foot-pounds of torque. Pulls the van around just great. I really can't tell the difference when the van's loaded or empty. It just kind of runs just the same. It's not a powerhouse. It does drive like a camper. You know, you're not going to win any drag races, but it gets 22, 23 miles a gallon, going 70, 75 miles an hour, which I can't really ask for any more than that. Alright, there's a few modifications under the van. I'll show you real quick. Back by the rear axle and the rear tire carrier, I mounted a 8-gallon propane tank. It's DOT approved for undermount for RV use. Carries a ton of propane to mainly run the furnace, and you could easily run an attachment off it to run your grill, so you wouldn't have to carry any extra propane. Also underneath, moving forward, you got the drop-in battery tray. It's stainless steel. I had it welded up down the street. It's got vents for the lead acid batteries to vent, and there's a hatch on the floor inside to easily access. 4 6-volt Trojan T105 batteries for a total of 420 amp hours of battery life. Alright, going to the rear of the van, I got the back open right now. You can see the door is built to hold a set of leathers, and there's actually a bin behind the leathers, behind the waist area, to hold a set of boots and some gloves. These doors are great. They open up almost 270 degrees to give you maximum access, which can be really nice in the paddock area when space is limited. I've got this blackout curtain that comes down. You just simply roll it up out of the way when you want to change the bed height. It's mainly just to give a cleaner look to the interior and keep your pillows and stuff from falling down. The bed's all in the down position. You got a ton of room. It's super comfy in that position. To move the bed up, you got a momentary switch here that actuates the bed lift. Moves fairly quickly. Real quick up in the front, if you want to run your laptop in bed or something, you got a 110 amp outlet for easy use off the bed. There's also another one back here in the cargo area for running miscellaneous things. Typically it's just me and my wife. A couple times I've had a buddy come to the track with me, and we'll actually pull those hoops out for the motorcycles, come out and just super easy, they're quick disconnect. And we'll blow up an air mattress back here, put the bed halfway down, and you can sleep 4 guys back here, or 2 guys back here, no problem. The floor is made out of real thick plywood. It's either 5/8 or 3/4, I can't remember which. I think it's 5/8. Nice plywood covered in a Duplo-color roll-in bed liner to give it durability for, like I said, like my kite gear and stuff. I never thought twice about throwing a wetsuit back here, or sandy boards or whatnot. It's just easy to clean out, and the floor is really well protected. That super thick floor, also anything you want to attach back here within reason, you just screw it right down. That was kind of the premise behind the thicker floor, is if you want to attach something like a bike mount or something, you just screw it right to the floor. Same thing on the walls. It's actually 3/8, a little thinner up the walls behind the paneling even. A little bit of extra weight, but again, like if you want to mount something to the wall, you just screw it there, and you got a nice steady place to store it. So with the bed all the way up, you get a good 62 inches of clearance, which is awesome for moving in and out of there, trying to tie down the bikes or whatever you're tossing in the back. The width between the wheel wells is 56 inches. So, you know, a 4-wheeler or something up to 56 inches wide, no problem. Go right in there, and then it's 66 inches to the bed rails on the side, as far as width dimensions go. Up in the front there's a storage area for a generator, or if you're not taking the generator, you can store whatever you want up there. Typically that's where I park the generator though, and right below it's that MagnaSine inverter that I talked about to run all of your AC electrical loads. And then underneath, quite a bit more storage up underneath that rear seat for whatever you want. You see the foam in the tracks of the bed lift, that's just to keep the rattling, so you don't hear the chains rattle as you're going down the road. You got a nice light, LED light on its own switch back here for unloading and loading stuff. Comes in really handy for unloading when it's dark out. One of the cool things is, whether you got dirt bikes back here, or your mountain bikes, or your cycles, or my sport bikes, I'll actually lower the bed down, standing right here, till it's just about touching whatever's back here. With my sport bikes in here, I can give myself a good 24 inches right about here on top to sleep along the way if I want to go somewhere and not take my gear out and crash in like a Walmart parking lot or something. That was one of the huge capabilities that I wanted in this van, was to be able to adjust the bed height and sleep with whatever I got back here. And then obviously when you get to the track and you pull it out, and then it's just super comfy. You got tons of room to sleep. Alright, as far as the interior of the van goes, there's a nice 4-foot by 4-foot carpeted area here with almost 6 foot of clearance to stand up and in and change your clothes or do whatever you need to do. Front seats on a swivel, so you can spin it around. Gives you a little extra room in the back, place to set something or sit down. Kind of nice feature to have. And as far as the cockpit goes for the van, it's just your standard ProMaster with the nice Uconnect stereo, which is pretty decent. Bluetooth capabilities and CD player and a backup camera. Moving to the back, you got the nice rear seat. It's an aftermarket rear seat built for a Yukon for the 3rd row seating. Just repurposed it and put it in here. It's mounted on a metal welded frame that's bolted directly to the frame of the van, so it's nice and sturdy. It's covered in wood and carpet to give it a nice clean finish. Moving to the bed, it's a short queen bed mattress, camper mattress with a foam pad. It's mounted on a HappiJac bed lift, which you'll find in most toy haulers. I was able to get a hold of one and install it in the van. As far as lighting in the bedding area, you've got 2 toggle lights, one on each side. For a reading light or just a little bit of light right before you go to bed and whatnot. If you want a lot of light, you can reach up and flip on the overhead LED light, which is kind of nice. You can see all the birch paneling throughout the sides of the van and across the top. It's all trimmed out really nice and looks a real nice clean finish. You got a vent fan here. This works awesome in conjunction with the awning window. Crack open the awning window and turn on the fan, and it gives you a nice amount of ventilation. The fan's kind of fancy. It's got its own remote control. It tells you what the temperature is in the van. You can set a thermostat temperature and the thing will automatically kick on and start cooling the van down when it gets to a certain temperature. I don't typically use that function, but one click of a button and the fan opens and kicks on. It's a variable speed fan. You can run it when it's raining because it's got that hood on it. Keeps the rain from coming in, so kind of nice. And it stows away when you're done with it. A few more LED lights up front. I'll show you. You've got 2 up in the main area. You can have them either in white mode, which is what I run them in, or they also go into red mode if you, for whatever reason, want to run red lighting. And they're mounted to this, connected to this LED light switch and dimmer, so you can set whatever brightness you want. Those LED lights really sip the power, which is kind of nice when you're trying to save power and not run a generator. As far as the cabinets go, they're birch plywood frame construction with professionally made, custom ordered birch doors, stained in a nice light natural stain. You got 3 big shelves in the main closet, pretty deep. They're about 20-24 inches deep. They got a lip on them to keep stuff from sliding off. And then over on the side you've got a nice area to hang clothes. In the back you can see where the liquor's stored for the beverage dispenser, which I'll get to in a minute. You can see the tubes going up, and then the pump is mounted just above those. Right below the closet is a dual USB port for charging phones or whatever else you want to charge. Comes in pretty handy. Keeping with the cabinets, this top cabinet up here mostly used for kitchen stuff. Like I said, most of these are a good 24 inches deep. Tons of storage. Here's the other closet area. 4 nice big shelves, and then a half shelf up top. Down below is just kind of a miscellaneous storage area. More storage up above the driver compartment. It's mostly used, you store whatever you want up here, but we use it pretty much as our pantry, which is kind of nice. Mounted to the ceiling is the Coleman 13,000 BTU air conditioner. Works great. I haven't used it a ton. Just up here in Wisconsin, don't need it a ton, but it does work really well. You've also got a smoke detector mounted up there. Down across the front of the seat, here's your main electrical distribution box. We'll talk more electronics later, but you got your fuses for your DC loads, and then your AC circuit breakers there. Coming across, you've also got your CO2 detector, which is going to be a must if you're going to run a furnace. Over here we've got the Suburban furnace thing works awesome. This fan is really well insulated with 1.5-inch automotive grade Thinsulate, mainly on the walls. All the gaps are filled with foam insulation, and then the ceiling it's got foam board insulation underneath the plywood sheeting, and then on the floor, underneath the floor, is also another 1/2-inch layer of foam. The propane gauge is on a momentary switch, so it's not drawing power all the time. You just push the switch and see how much propane you got. Right now we're around 3/4 of the tank. You got another USB outlet, which is kind of nice for charging stuff when you're sitting outside the van, and a 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet there, and two 110-volt household GFI outlets to run whatever you need to run. Alright, for the main part of the electronics, I showed you the solar panels up top. This is a solar panel controller. We're parked in the shade now, so we're not pulling many amps right now. 1.5 in the shade. About to pull it out in the driveway right now, out of the shade. You can see that number up around 11 amps, which allows you to run the all-electric refrigerator, charge some cell phones, maybe run some LEDs at night, and pretty much keep up with 100% charge every day. The inverter, I put a pretty good size inverter in here. I wanted to be able to run everything in the van that's AC powered off the inverter. It's 2,000 watt pure sine wave, made by MagnaSine. Great unit. It's got a charger in it, so when you plug the van into the 30 amp outlet, that charger charges the batteries. Like I said, you've always got the solar panel that also charges the batteries, and then the last way to charge the batteries is anytime the van's running and the alternator's going, there's a battery to battery charger, which I'll show you later, that's underneath the driver's seat, that uses the van alternator to charge the batteries. So you can plug the van into the wall, you can plug it into your generator, you can use just solar, which is my favorite and works almost all the time. I can spend a whole weekend at the track and never plug my van into the generator or the wall. Or every time I start the van, the van battery to battery charger charges the battery. So it's never an issue keeping the batteries charged. The van battery to battery charger and the solar is really nice also, because it just keeps topping off your batteries all the time, smartly charging them and maintaining them really well. The liquor dispenser, one of my favorite parts, great for tailgating or just relaxing at the track after a day of riding. I just simply switch it on, select which kind of what your flavor is, hold your cup up underneath the carrot, and it dispenses your liquor. For the refrigerator, I went with an all-electric Dometic fridge, built for RVs and boats. It's got a nice large refrigerator section, and what I really liked was the large freezer section. Plenty of room to store a bag of ice and whatnot, which is kind of nice to have on hand all the time when you're out camping. And a nice large fridge. I went with all electric, mainly because propane you got to keep level all the time to keep it running. I wanted to be able to park the van pretty much anywhere on someone's driveway or in a parking lot at a ski resort, and not worry about the fridge shutting off because it wasn't parked on a level surface. Alright, I put privacy curtains in the van. Just untie them and drops down, gives you nice privacy and blocks out the light. For the side window, it's got a nice dark tint to it. You really can't see inside much during the day, but at night with the lights on, you want a little extra privacy. Built this nice cover for the window with some really strong magnets, and you just slap it up to the wall and it sticks. The magnets are super strong, and it's real convenient to just quickly slap it up there for your privacy. Real quick, under the driver's seat, I want to show you that battery to battery charger. Nestled underneath the seat is the Sterling battery to battery charger. Designed mainly for marine use, but works awesome in this application. This van's got a great big alternator on it, and using that to charge the batteries, it gives you 60 amps of charge if you if you want it. I never run my batteries, definitely never run them under half charge, so I never pull more than about 200 amp hours out of them. At 60 amps, you know, driving along, it'd take you 4 or 5 hours to completely recharge from as low as you'd want to take them back to a full charge, which is pretty neat. Ideally, I never let my batteries get under 3/4 charge, and with the amount of capacity in the van and the number of charging options, it's just usually never an issue to keep them 75% charged or more. It's just the best thing for the batteries. Taking them below 75% of a charge, it tends to wear them out a little bit quicker.